According to News 24, a 31-year-old man was stabbed to death on the corner of Long and Pepper Street in the early hours of Saturday morning. Long Street is one of the busiest streets. It is a hospitality and tourist hub in Cape Town. We don't discount that between Saturday and Sunday morning, there were 7 murders reported in the city of Cape Town. Also hearing overnight reports of police action in Elsie's River that left 1 person dead in that area. But we're focusing on Long Street. It is a hospitality and tourism hotspot. I no longer venture into Long Street, probably because I'm a little bit older and I'm not part of the nightclub and partying scene. But many people do, and many people travel to Cape Town, locally and from abroad, to experience Long Street. But is Long Street unsafe these days? Ian McMahon is the ward councillor for Ward 115, which covers the Cape Town CBD. In December, there was a reporting of a stabbing incident also in Long Street. In February, there was an incident after an event at the Castle of Good Hope. Also reportings of a stabbing incident. Later, that victim died in hospital because of the injuries. Is there concern that the Cape Town CBD, particularly Long Street, has become a concern for safety, seeing that it is such a popular hospitality and tourism hotspot? Ian, good morning.
Good morning, Lester, and good morning to the listeners.
Your concerns about the reports of violence, assault, stabbings in Long Street?
To say I'm not concerned, or to say that my concern is muted, Lester, one has to look at the whole context. And if you look at in the last quarter in the Leaper areas where we had 679 sort of homicides, and you also look at the nature of this particular case where it was gang-related. But I do have a concern, Lester, that this incident happened at 3:30 in the morning. We have many nightclubs who are trading past their hours. The Western Cape's Liquor Authority did a night visit last Friday night starting at midnight, and I joined them. I did a ride along. We finished at about 5:30 in the morning, and we went to 21 nightclubs, of which 20 nightclubs got a fine for something. There were many that were trading past their allowed hour of 2 a.m. Some were still trading at 4:30 in the morning. And so there is definitely a correlation between sort of crime stats and these sorts of incidents and the abuse of liquor and what goes on. So there is cause to be concerned on the broader aspect rather than just pinpointing this one incident, Lester.
There's enough reporting over the last few years of the infiltration of gang elements, infiltration of the so-called security mafia, extortion rackets, which has plagued Long Street. Nothing new for years, if not decades, in the city of Cape Town. How worried are you that we're seeing Long Street and the Cape Town CBD now being gang hotspots infiltrated by street gangs who perform what they do now on the streets of a very busy tourist hotspot?
Lester, the whole sort of bounce sort of gang-related and underground network has sort of gone off the boil in the last while. One of the alleged sort of kingpins is currently standing trial for some other crimes, and it's not come to the fore as much as it used to be about 3 or 4 years ago. But it doesn't mean that we don't have this opportunistic crime. If you remember the crime stats, the Cape Town Central Station has the highest crime stats on sort of robbery, common robbery, theft out of cars, theft out of motor vehicles, break-ins and all that sort of stuff. So it is a key concern for the city. In 2021, the mayor did his CBD mayoral program where he assigned another 100 law enforcement officers to this area to ensure that we don't lose the last sort of operating CBD out of any metro in the city. So it's all hands on deck. Yeah. We take the murder that happened. It was sort of slightly gang-related. We know the guy who committed the murder. He's behind bars at the moment. But it's something we're going to be working very hard on, sir.
Councillor Ian McMahon, really appreciate your time. Of course, I do not discount that elsewhere in the Cape Metro, murder, assault, robbery is literally an everyday issue. But I also take into consideration this tourist and hospitality hotspot. I have many young relatives who visit Cape Town for the first time. They are of age, so they can go on a bit of a nightclub or a pub crawl, but I advise them against it. Long Street is billed as this tourist spot where you go along with other particularly younger people, go experience Cape Town's nightlife. But now, after having spent a great deal of my life on Long Street, I've lived on Long Street, I wouldn't advise them. I drove past there on Saturday night after coming back from the Cape Town Carnival, and I just, as after crossing Long Street at Whale Street, I looked down and I thought, gosh, it's pretty full already. I wouldn't advise a younger relative to go to Long Street anymore. Not the most dangerous place in the city. There are other places that live with a daily reality of assault, burglary, crime. Cape Town CBD, of course, is the CBD with the highest reports of assaults, robberies and burglaries in the country. I wouldn't advise a young person to go to Long Street these days, let alone a tourist.